Hey everyone, welcome to Gentle Yoga. I have split this 60-minute class up into two classes. We're going to be focusing on hips in both classes. The first 30 minutes would be great to do if you have sensitive wrists or knees. So that's going to be the super gentle practice. The second practice is a good one to do if you're okay with being on hands and knees. Nice to have available for these practices 2 blocks, or you could have 2 cans. Like we just need something to elevate our hands, a strap, belt, a blanket or towel, and a chair. So let's come on down to the mat. We're going to lay down on our backs. Have your strap. So this will be the practice if you have sensitive knees. Okay, so coming on down, we'll come into cobbler's pose. Soles of the feet together, knees wide. Lengthen the back of your pelvis towards your heels to keep the back broad. And if this feels too abrupt for you, a little too intense on the inner thighs, grab some pillows or blocks, maybe those cans. If you have a couple cans of beans or something, you can slide it under either thigh to support the leg. So this would be the extra supported version. Wherever you are, go ahead and rest your arms alongside the body. Close the eyes if that feels good. Let's check in. Notice what kind of thoughts you're having right now. Take a slow, deep breath in, open the mouth, let the thoughts go, exhale. Feeling into the entire body, arms, legs, bones. Notice what's present for you, what sensations. And perhaps just taking note if there's anything, any extra kindness you need to extend to your body today. And then checking in, notice how you're feeling. What kind of mood are you in? And then placing one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Take a slow, deep breath in. Open the mouth, exhale. And just breathing naturally, noticing the rhythm and pace of your breath. Nothing needs to change. Just notice what areas of the bodies move or expand as you inhale. What's the quality of the exhale? And then welcoming yourself to your practice, welcoming your entire experience. Welcome. And then now let's bring our thumbs to the ring fingers, the base of our ring fingers. Fold your fingers over your thumbs and then inhale, rotating the wrists. Exhale, forcefully punch out towards the ceiling. And then again, inhaling through the nose, roll the wrists, wind it up, and then exhale out through the nose, punching out. Last time, on your own, inhaling, rolling the wrists. Exhale, forcefully punch. Good, and then interlace the fingers. Rotate the palms of the fingers away from your face towards the ceiling. Exhale completely, reaching the shoulder blades away from each other. On the next inhale, reach the arms back overhead, behind you, any amount that feels available for you right now. Just a nice big morning stretch. And then exhale, swing the arms out to the sides, kind of like you're doing snow, like a snow angel arms out to the sides. And then back hands to the fists. Last round of this, inhale, roll the wrist, exhale, punch. Interlace the fingers, inhale, reach the arms back behind you. As you exhale, slowly extend the arms left and right. But this time we're going to pause, and it's going to be like you're holding your hands into two stop signs, right? Two like little stop hands. Fingertips are peeling towards the face, reaching through palms, arms really strong. And the arms aren't on the floor at this point. So we're really using the muscular energy. I want to see, can we stretch the fascia of the arms and then slowly wiggle the fingers. Sometimes this doesn't always feel pleasant, but it's a really nice thing to do for your wrists and your arms if you have to be on the computer all day. And then start to rotate the wrists, arms still out to the side. And then releasing the arms alongside the body. Go ahead and slowly help the knees together. You'll move the blocks off the side of the mat. And now have your thighs touching, but walk your feet a little bit wider apart. So maybe the feet come close to the edges, the long edges of the mat, maybe not. Thing here is that we're looking to do is spiral our inner thighs towards the feet edge of the mat. So away from the face. So we're just kind of doing the opposite action that we just did with the thighs. Go ahead and lift the hips for a moment and kind of scoop the pelvis so that the low back is releasing towards the floor. Bring your hands to your belly, big belly breath in. Open the mouth, exhale it out. Good. And then extend your arms left and right, wrists in line with shoulders, and slowly windshield wiper the knees side to side. And the feet are still apart. Windshield wipering. And then the next time the knees go left, you'll pause there and head can slowly roll to the right if that feels nice. Reaching your top knee, that's your right one, reach it away from your belly button. Second side, windshield wiper the knees to the right, head rolls to the left. Reaching your top knee, that's your left one, away from your belly button, reach, reach, reach. Good, and then let's just roll over onto our right side. Support your head in some way, maybe use your arms or a block, however you like. Knees are gonna bend, we're gonna do some clams. So the legs are stacked, and just like a clamshell opens, your top knee is gonna lift, the feet will stay together, and then your knee will lower. Keep your left hand on your top hip, just to kind of notice as you're doing this very slowly. Notice is the top of the body swinging back and forth. See if you can stabilize the rest of the body and just isolate this movement in the left hip. Nice and slow, lifting and lowering. And the slower you go, the more opportunity you're going to get to build muscle. Also to inquire, what is happening now? And as you continue to slowly lift and lower the top knee, bring your mind to some sensation that you're experiencing that is pleasurable. So maybe there's something beautiful in your house that you can rest your eyes on. Maybe the sensation of strength that you're accumulating in that top hip is feeling pleasurable, a little bit of burning maybe. Feel your breath. Excellent. And then the top knee comes to stack back on top of the bottom. And let's do the second side. So go ahead and roll over. We're on our left side now. Setting it up. And then slow lift of the top knee and lower. Again, that hands resting on your hip. Notice we don't need to swing the entire body with this, just isolating this movement in the hip. Sometimes we don't lift the knee very high, so we can do that. We can keep that isolated. And bringing your mind back to something that's pleasurable, resting your mind on what is available to you that feels pleasurable in this moment. Maybe it's the breath. Good, we got a little bit more time here. Keep moving. And as we're resting our mind on something pleasurable, we're not kind of denying anything that is not feeling pleasurable, maybe. We're allowing that to be there too. But we're also recognizing that there is pleasure to be had right now in some aspect of our experience. And breathing it in. Okay, let's do about 4 more of these. Good. Okay. Go ahead and roll back onto your back. Exhale, draw right knee into chest. Panasana. I'm going to have you extend your left leg long, but I'd like you to let it hover. Reach through the left heel. So left leg is long, hovering over the mat, right knee into chest. Exhale, hollow out your belly and lift your head. Stay here as you inhale, reach through that left heel. Stay here as you exhale, reach. And then inhale, go ahead and release back down to the mat. Exhale, left knee into chest. Inhale, right leg, reach it, reach through that right heel. On your next exhale, lifting your head any amount. Inhale, focus on stretching that right leg, strength and lengthen that right leg. About 1 more round of breath here. Strong tummy. And then inhale, release. Bending both knees, setting up for bridge. We're going to lift our hips up and down in bridge on an inhale. Lifting the hips. Keep your gaze on the ceiling. Exhale, lowering. You press down the feet into the mat as we lift the hips. And exhale, lower. We're going to keep doing this, but add some arms. On an inhale, sweep your arms up towards the ceiling and then back behind you. On an exhale, sweep the arms up towards the ceiling and then back to the mat alongside the body as your bottom comes to the floor. And keep moving with your breath. Gaze on the ceiling. And then just checking that you're really grounding through the feet as you do this. Feeling the strength of the glutes and the backs of the legs as you lift and lower. Maybe even starting to articulate the movements of the spine. Rolling up the spine and rolling down the spine as you do that. If this spine's feeling kind of like tight today, or just doing this pose feels like a lot of effort as it is, don't worry about the articulation of the spine right now. Here we're just strengthening the backs of the legs. Let's do about 2 more. Good, and then release your bottom back to the mat. Once again, take the feet wide, arms left and right, windshield wiper the legs side to side. Right, and one hip will kind of come off the mat as you do this. Windshield wipering. Excellent. And then from here, you are going to locate your strap. Just have it nearby if you think you might need it. We're going to do half happy baby. So you can either grab a hold of your right ankle and just reach it towards the ceiling as you slide your bottom leg long. You might want to try using a strap for this too. You can do Happy Baby with a strap. So my knee is wide. I'm feeling a stretch in my right hamstring. My right foot, I'm trying to like put an imprint on the ceiling with my right foot. Okay. And then of course, some of you may just go ahead and get into that half Happy Baby. Let's take a couple breaths here. Good, and then from here, I suggest just grabbing that strap anyways and looping it around the foot, because we're going to move into just stretching the entire back of the leg. So maybe you keep your hands on your toes and you do that, or maybe you just use the strap. The leg is extending straight up towards the ceiling, reaching through that heel. And then slowly swing the leg out to the side. So opening the leg wide, reaching through the heel. Let your right elbow rest on the floor here and keep that right leg elevated, but it's still extending out to the side. So we don't let it collapse to the floor. Breath in, breath out. Good, come on back through center. Grab the strap with your left hand and then just swing the leg over to the left any amount until you start to feel the outer right leg kind of light up. Both sides of my hips are on the mat here. People often describe this as like an IT band stretch. So it's the general area of the IT band. If you're looking for a little bit more sensation, you're still breathing, hook your right thumb into your right hip crease and then just gently push your right hip crease away from your face. Just a very gentle nudge to keep that right side waist long. One more breath. Good, go ahead and release. Right leg next to left leg, just notice. Okay, Happy Baby, half Happy Baby, second side. So find your variation. Opening that left knee wide. And you can straighten the right leg for this, or you can keep the right foot on the floor if that feels like a better fit for you this morning. About one or two more breaths. Really steeping in what is pleasurable. What can you take in right now that's nourishing for you? And then we'll go ahead and find our strap, loop it over the foot if you haven't already, and extend the leg towards the ceiling. Stretching the back of the leg, reaching through that heel. There's a few different ways that you can come into this back of the leg stretch. So if you want to play around with it, you could try bending the left knee and just see, does that feel like it's really providing the stretch that you're looking for today? Or maybe you could start the leg diagonal and straight, like don't bend the knee, and then just start to extend it towards the ceiling and stop when it's like it can't go anymore. Right, so in this last one, the leg may just stay diagonal, and that's totally fine. If you're feeling a stretch, great. Okay, let's hand the strap over to the left hand, swing the leg over to the left, reach through the heel. I'm resting my left elbow on the floor. Just imagine that you could reach the skin of your inner left thigh out through the inner ankle, reaching. Good, and then come on back through center. Let's stretch the outer left leg. Swing the leg over across the body any amount. Might just be an inch or so. Maybe you want to take that left thumb and hook it into where your leg connects to your pelvis. Push that hip crease away to help create a deeper stretch. Soften your jaw. Find what is pleasurable. Breathe it in. Letting go of what you don't need right now as you breathe out. Good, and then come on back through center. Release the foot. Let's roll over to one side. Come on up nice and slow. Let's come up to stand. Have your chair nearby. Okay, and have your chair, the seat of your chair facing the center of the mat. So this next bit that we're going to do is going to help kind of, it's actually a core exercise, and I'd like you to feel like the way that your legs and arms all plug into the center of your body. And to do this, we're looking at less of like a big balancing pose and more of like, do I feel integrated in my arms and legs into my core? Okay. So if you could, please avoid grabbing onto a wall to have a bigger expression of the pose, and instead just explore how can I plug my legs and arms into my core, okay? But the chair's there if you feel like you need to get it if you're gonna fall. So let's first just take our feet wide. We're gonna come into goddess pose. Toes turning out, knees turning out, right? So generally kneecaps and toes pointing same direction. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. On an inhale, stay in the pose, but reach the arms up overhead. On the exhale, swing the arms out to the sides and down, back together to palms in front of heart. Inhale, reaching arms up. Exhale, down, palms together. A few more times. Stay in the pose. Right, so we're breathing nice and slow, feeling what's available in this pose to us, what sensations we're noticing, what's pleasurable, right? So where we place our attention grows. What we practice, we become. How can we allow ourselves to really fully integrate pleasure, joy, more into our lives? It's available to us at any time, some aspect of it. Just directing ourselves in that way, in that direction. Okay, last one, and reach up. Exhale, stand up. Okay, here's the balancing pose. I'm gonna have you step your feet about hips width distance apart. Toes are gonna be slightly turned out, knees are gonna slightly bend. Shift the weight onto your left foot and kind of lean to the left. And then come back through center. Shift the weight onto your right foot, leaning to the right. And then let's do that a few more times. So as you shift your weight onto one foot and lift the opposite heel, just feeling that leg light up. I'm moving on the plane that is parallel with the long edges of my mat, right? So I'm opening up towards the long edges of my mat, going side to side. This is actually like a very, very, very variation of half moon pose, if you're familiar with it, okay? And then you can bring your palms together in front of your heart as you do this. And then next time you shift over to the left foot, maybe you keep that right foot on the floor and just stay here. You're feeling the strength, you're breathing. Maybe you extend your arms off on a diagonal line at any point. Feel your breath, hollow your tummy. If you wanted to go a little further, you could lift that right foot a little bit. Okay. About one more breath here. And then palms back through center, second side. Okay, my standing knee, my toes and knee are pointing the same direction. It's not completely out to the right. That's totally fine. We're just slightly turned out here. And then exploring. Arms reaching overhead any amount, right? Maybe they're just like that. That's totally fine. Tummy in. Maybe we lift the left foot just a little bit. Enjoying the wobble. Maybe the wobble turns into a hop. Cool, no problem. About 2 more breaths here. And then coming back through center, back into this goddess pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, palms down, palms back together in front of the heart. Straighten the legs, turn your toes forward. We're gonna fold forward. This would be a great time to grab a block and hold on to it. If the floor feels kind of far away, you're always welcome to face the chair and bring your hands to the seat of the chair there. Right, so you can just hang out here, gaze between the legs. Some of you, maybe you don't need a block. Maybe you walk the hands towards the center line, right between the feet. Stay strong and active in the legs, reaching the hips towards the ceiling. Let your head go. Take a deep breath in and then flutter your lips, raspberry lips. Let's do that twice more. Last one. Very good. Bring your hands to your hips. Press the feet in the floor. Stand up. Pivot to face the seat of your chair. Let's take a chair dog. Hands on the chair. Feet are underneath hips, just about a fist width distance apart. Reach through the arms. Melt your heart towards the floor. And feel into it. What would feel pleasurable right now? Do you want to keep your legs still? Or maybe you'd like to pedal the feet. Maybe one leg feels a little bit tighter than the other. You could hang out there a little bit longer. We got about 3 or 4 more breaths here, directing your mind to what feels pleasurable. Very nice. Slowly walk forward. And then we're going to make our way back onto the mat. Grab your blanket. Pillow works too. We're going to sit up on it. Come into Sukhasana, cross-legged position, right shin in front. Inhale, reach both arms up towards the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Walk the hands forward any amount. And so we're inviting a stretch into the outside of the right hip. Right foot pretty active here. It's flexed. Let your belly soften though. And if you wanted to really relax into it, you could grab a block and maybe rest your elbows on the block. Maybe you want to rest your forehead on the chair. And see how much further you can soften the belly. How much further can you relax the back? And then add a little bit of movement to this, kind of swaying the trunk a little side to side. Just very slow. Noticing any change of sensation in that front hip. And move any block that you've been using out of the way now and walk the hands to the left. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. Good, and then come on up. Recross the legs, left shin in front. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Left foot is flexed. Adjusting this posture in any way you need to feel a more pleasurable sensation in this stretch. Maybe you use some blocks. Reaching your heart a little further from your navel. And invite your rear to really surrender down to the floor. Soften your jaw and start to move your trunk a little side to side, nice and slow, inquiring, what's that like? A little side to side. What is pleasurable? And then slowly walk the hands to the right. About 2 more breaths. And then coming on up. Kick the legs forward for a moment. Peel the toes back. Walk your hands back about half a step. Fingers turned out. Bend the elbows and lift the heart. Look up. Good. And walking the hands back. Let's come on to our backs once more. Have your blocks nearby if you like. Couple options. So here's our relaxation portion of this short practice. Maybe back to cobbler's pose. Maybe you'd like to just extend the legs into Shavasana, and then you've got those blocks there if you need to set up yourself in any way with the blocks, maybe blocks behind the knees or underneath the knees in whatever position that you've chosen. Once again, checking in with your mind, your thoughts, your mood. The sensations of your body. And your breath. I invite you to more deeply surrender to this relaxation pose for about 3 more breaths if you can, at least. If you have longer, please take longer for this relaxation pose. Enjoy your hips. Enjoy what is pleasurable to you right now. Good. And now for the second practice. Practice 2, we're going to begin with our soles of our feet together and the knees wide open. Okay, so this is the hips practice. If you do not have sensitive knees or wrists, so bring your hands to your belly, checking in, noticing how you're feeling. How's your body? What kind of mood are you in? What kind of thoughts are you having? And what is the quality of your breath? Particularly, what is the length of the inhale and what is the length of the exhale? And then I'd like you to take a big deep breath in and hold the breath for the count of 3. Open the mouth, let it go. Bring one hand to your heart. Keep the other hand on your belly. Give yourself a smile or an inner smile. Welcome yourself to your practice today. Welcome. And then using your hands to help draw your knees together. Keep the thighs together, walk the feet apart so that the inner thighs are spiraling towards the bottom of the mat. Interlace the fingers, rotate your palms towards the ceiling as you straighten your elbows. Exhale. Inhale, reach the arms back behind you like a big morning stretch. Keep those thighs together, feet wide. And then exhale, release the arms. Windshield wiper the knees a little side to side. And then the next time the knees go right, pause there. Extend arms left and right. Let your head roll to the left. Reach your left knee away from your belly button. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Windshield wiper the knees to the left. Head rolls right. Reach your right knee away from your belly button. Inhale. Exhale. And then slowly roll to one side. Come on up to a cross-legged position. I encourage you to grab a blanket or a pillow and prop yourself up on it so you can sit really nice and tall. We're going to do a little bit of breath work. This is called clearing the channels. You take 7 breaths through the left nostril, then 7 breaths through the right nostril. Now, if one of these nostrils or both are blocked, just breathe out your mouth or however you can, and just imagine that you're breathing, visualize that you're breathing through whatever nostril I'm instructing you to breathe through. So it's a little bit different than Nadi Shodhana. It's just 7 and the same on either side. I'll talk us through it. You're gonna bring your thumbs to the base of your ring fingers. Bring your fingers over the thumbs and then go ahead and stuff your left fist into your right armpit. Sit nice and tall. Extend your right index finger. Take a breath in through both nostrils. Block your right nostril. Exhale left. Inhale left. That's one round of breath. It starts with the exhale, ends with the inhale. Do 6 more for a total of 7, and then let go, breathe normally. So you finish with the inhale. And then release your hands, just breathe. Second side. Setting it up, thumbs to base of ring fingers, fingers over thumbs. Stuff that right fist into your right armpit. Sit up tall, extend the left index finger, inhale. Slowly block left nostril, exhale right. Inhale right. That's a total of 1 round. Do 6 more, then let go. And whenever you're finished, just breathing normally. Good. Let's come on to our hands and knees. Grab your blocks or cans of beans, books, whatever you need. Stools. I've seen people use stools instead of blocks. Have your towel. Place your knees on your towel. Come on to those hands and knees. A little Chakravakasana. So on an inhale, lifting head and tail. Exhale, round the back. Bring your rear to your heels, sitting down on those heels, and release the head to the floor. On the inhale, coming on up into a back bend, like a cow pose. Exhale, rounding the back, elbows to the mat, let your head go, rear to heels. Good. Let's do about 3 more of those on your own. And then we'll meet in child's pose. Knees can be together to stretch the low back, or knees apart for a more of an inner thigh stretch, but keep the arms active. So my arms are like downward dog arms. My elbows are straight, my palms are pressing into the floor. I want you to lengthen your spine. And then walking the hands to the left. Nice big breath into the right ribs, stretch the right side body. And then walking the hands to the right. Big breath into the left ribs. Exhale out the mouth. Good, and then come on back up through center. You're gonna come on to hands and knees. Okay, so weight in right knee, lift left knee straight up back behind you. And then I'd like you to imagine that you have a marker on your left knee and you're going to draw a circle with that left knee. So swing the left knee open, kind of like a dog at a fire hydrant, right? And then swinging the left knee now towards the floor. And we do it again. Swing the left knee back. Feel the left glute work. And then swinging out, fire hydrant. And towards the floor, draw that circle. Let's do about 4 more of these. Keep your breath moving. You're always welcome to come up onto the fists of your hands if the wrists are feeling sensitive. Good, and then let's do the other direction. Now swing the knee out and then back behind you. And then towards the floor, swing the knee out, back behind you towards the floor, drawing that circle with that left knee. Other direction, couple more breaths. Fabulous, left knee on the mat. Okay, step your right foot forward. You're in a lunge, and I'd like you to grab a hold of your blocks or whatever's functioning as your blocks. Come into lizard pose. With this lizard pose, your toes are going to be pointing forward. Okay, and then maybe you don't want the blocks, so you can get rid of them if you don't need them, right? Hands can be to the floor. But from here, I'd like you to direct your attention to where you're feeling sensation. And as you do this, actually, I want to show you, let me see if I can show you. I'm hugging my right knee into my right arm. So there are lizard poses where you come out like this. We're doing this a little different. Our toes are pointing forward. So hugging right knee in to the right arm. And then I'd like you to find a pleasurable sensation in that right hip and follow it. Start to move your body in any way where you're like, what would feel really nice now? Like maybe you want to move into like a half Hanumanasana pose, like stretching out the legs straight. Maybe you want to swing the hips to the right or to the left. And then if you want to move the toes out and make it more of like a different variation of lizard where the knee's falling out and that feels good, please do that. So I want you to find what is pleasurable, what feels healthy, like a healthy stretch in that right hip, and give it to yourself. Right, and maybe that means that you're stretching out. Maybe you want to go into the hamstrings too. So stretch out that front leg if you want to. You got about 2 or 3 more breaths. Excellent. Go ahead and come back to hands and knees position. And then onto your belly. Arms alongside the body, forehead to the mat, tops of the feet to the floor, thighs together. And then inhale, slowly start to lift up, lifting into locust pose, arms and legs, palms are going to face each other. And then slowly as you exhale, releasing into the mat, lower your left side of your face into the floor. Inhale, slowly lifting up any amount, lifting the heads of the shoulders away from the floor, gaze to the top edge of the mat. Exhale, right side of the face to the floor, nice and slow. Imagine that you're moving through like molasses, moving through honey. You're moving nice and slow as you slowly come on up. And each time you let go, turn your head to one side. Do your best to like really relax. Can you relax? And when you're engaged, be engaged, really engaged, lifting. When you're relaxed, you're relaxing. Let's do that once more on either side. Next time you're up into locust pose, place your hands underneath your shoulders, release your legs to the floor, push on up through hands and knees. Chakravakasana. Exhale, round the back, sit back to the heels. Let your head go, gaze at the knees. Inhale, come on up through hands and knees, back bend. Exhale, round back to the child's position. Let's do that one more time, coming on up, one more time, coming down. And pausing in child's pose for a round of breath. Good, come on up. Let's do the second side. So let's do the right knee. Right knee swings back and up. Firm back of the right leg, firm glute. Now swing the right knee out to the side and down. Circling that right knee, tummy in. We're isolating this movement in the right hip. Go nice and slow. Keep making those circles. What feels pleasurable about breathing right now? How much pleasure can you derive from just simply taking a big breath in and then complete breath out? Okay, go the other direction with your circles. So knee goes back, knee goes to the floor, and then out to the side, and then back. These circles don't have to be big, they could be small. That's totally fine. Just keep breathing. Okay, let's do one more. And then releasing right knee to the mat. Step on forward. Let's come into our lizard pose. Hands to blocks on the inside of the leg or to the floor. And just for starts here, I'd like you to hug the inner left knee into the left arm. Front foot is pointing forward. So getting just a little bit of inner thigh strength here. And then now to inquire, what would feel like a nice opening in that left hip, left hamstring, left leg. So you could swing the hips a little side to side. Maybe you want to kind of start to straighten the leg. Maybe there's a turning out of the toes that feels nice. Sometimes our bodies open best with a little bit of slow movement. Sometimes our bodies open best with like a pause and a hold. My cat on the video, my kitty says hello, hello. And directing our mind to what is pleasurable and following that, kind of follow that. Yes, this is feeling like a healthy stretch. Letting this pose be your pose or this movement. Maybe it's not really a pose, right? Maybe it's something. You're not sure what it is. Let's take about 3 more breaths wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Excellent. And then back to hands and knees and back to the floor, belly on the floor, arms alongside the body, inhaling, lifting. Pause there, locust pose. Lifting the arms, lifting the shoulders, palms can face each other. And now I'd like you to bring the tops of the feet to the mat. Keep the chest lifted. So we're turning this more into kind of a half locust, peeling the heart open, shoulders broad, and then palms to the mat, underneath shoulders. Let's push on up, hands and knees. Moving into Chakravakasana once again. Exhale, round the back, sit on the heels, drop your head, gaze at the knees. Inhale, come on up, turn it into a back bend. Belly and heart move towards the floor. Exhale, round the back, and we'll meet in child's pose. Big breath in. Let all the breath out of your lungs, let go. Excellent, come on up. Come up to standing position. Have your blocks on either side of the mat, the front edge of your mat. You can move your blanket off to the side. Or can of beans, whatever you're using. Have your right foot forward, left foot back. And we're going to move into pyramid pose. Left toes slightly turned out. Square your hips and shoulders to face the top edge of your mat. Interlace the fingers in front of you and rotate the palms up overhead. So get really, really long. Lots of long length in the spine. Press all corners of your feet into the mat. Feel your connection with the planet. And then from these roots, rise up. And then exhale, swing the arms out to the sides and then pause there. Your hands are in 2 stop signs, 2 stop sign hands. Peel the fingertips back, broaden your chest, slide the shoulder blades down the back body. Fingertips start to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle fingers. Good. And then releasing arms down alongside body. Go ahead and reach for your blocks. Fold forward, folding over the front leg. pressing your right foot into the mat. And I'd like you to press your right foot into the mat like you're pressing the gas pedal. So maybe your right heel gets a little light. Please square your chest to face the mat. And plug the right ball of the foot into the mat. And from this plugging in, reach your right hip further away from the toes. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, maybe fold a little deeper. One more round of breath here. Very nice. Bend your right knee. Drop your head, gazing at your right knee. So now your legs are kind of in warrior one legs, and I want you to release your blocks, press your right foot into the floor, and slowly roll up your spine. So warrior one legs, that means the right knee's been slowly rolling up the spine and coming up. And then from here, I want you to slowly roll down, keep that right knee bent, rolling down the spine, head comes down, rolling down. Fingertips come to blocks or the floor, your choice. Right knee stays bent, back leg straight. And then slowly press right foot into the floor, rolling up. Good. Okay, second side. You're gonna step your left foot forward, right foot back, preparing for pyramid pose, squaring hips and shoulders to face the top edge of your mat. Interlace the fingers, rotate your palms towards the sky, pressing down through all four corners of both feet. From these roots, rise up. On your next exhale, slowly release the arms out left and right. Two stops, stop sign hands, pressing. Gather your shoulder blades together behind you. Slowly wiggle the fingers, lengthen your neck, back of the neck. One more inhale, and exhale, release the arms. Folding forward, fingertips come to something in front of you, framing the front foot. Squaring hips and trunk to face the mat. The hips are facing the front edge of the mat, rather. The trunk is facing the floor. And pressing down through your front foot like you're pumping the gas. Rooting that front foot into the floor, press down and then reach your left hip away from your foot. Inhale, lengthen the spine, reach your heart away from your navel. Exhale, maybe fold any amount further. Just noticing what is pleasurable here. Breathing in what feels good right now. About one more breath here. Bend the left knee. Slowly roll up. Head's the last thing to come up. So warrior one, legs, rolling the head up. And then slowly rolling down. Roll down to where you came from. Keep that front knee bent. Hands touch something. Press the front leg into the floor. Slowly roll up. And then slowly rolling down. Hands touch something. Last time, pressing down, rolling up. Good, and then step forward. Take your feet wide, come into goddess pose. Palms come together in front of your heart. Keep the legs just as they are. Toes are pointing in the same direction your kneecaps are. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, Hands return to beginning position. Keep moving with the breath. So the legs aren't moving, just the arms. One more time. Nice and slow breathing in, slow breathing out. Good. And then from here, I'd like you to walk your feet about hips width distance apart. Bend the knees a little bit. And let's shift weight into the left foot. Shift weight into the right foot. And keep doing that. You're going to go side to side here. Again, you'll notice that my toes and kneecaps are pointing the same direction. I'm in like a baby kind of goddess stance, just going side to side. Next time you shift your weight to your left foot, pause there. Please avoid holding onto the wall, onto anything. Maybe you stay here. This is a great place to be. Maybe you reach your arms overhead. So now your body's kind of on a diagonal. We're doing a variation of half moon pose. And maybe you lift that right leg. So you're kind of coming on. So you may teeter forward or towards the floor a little bit, but you're kind of moving. I'm opening my chest. I'm facing the long edge of my mat, right? Have your ribs in, your belly in. Just a little bit of core work here. We're integrating our arms and legs, and by not holding on to anything right now, we're giving ourselves that opportunity to wobble, shake, create the strength that is going to help us stay healthy, right? And then coming back through center, second side. Feel it in, and it's not uncommon. Maybe one side feels a little bit more weak or tighter than the other side. So take care of yourself as needed. Now my standing leg, I'm not locking my standing leg knee. I keep it slightly bent so I can kind of adjust as needed. Feel your breath. And really, there's a lot of length and strength in your tummy. And then coming back to goddess pose. Staying goddess, inhale, reach up. Exhale, palms together. Again, inhale, reach up. Keep arms up, straighten the legs, turn your toes forward. Now your feet are parallel. Exhale, let's fold over, straighten legs. Grab a block if you need it. Maybe hands are on the floor. So the feet are in a wider stance here. Let your head go, shake it no, shake it yes. And let's do one round of raspberry lips. So take a big breath in and then flutter your lips on the exhale. Very good. Heel toe, your feet together. Bring your hands to your hips, knees bent, roll up, stand up, and let's come onto the mat. So come onto your back. Let's come onto our back here. You're going to bring your right ankle over your left thigh, and then just hug that left shin or left thigh into chest with the hands. Your top foot, keep it flexed. Invite the back of the pelvis to release into the mat. Soften the belly, soften the brow. What feels pleasurable now? Breathe in whatever feels pleasurable right now. Breathe it in, take it in. Exhale, let it go. Good. And then you're going to cross your right thigh tightly over left. Extend your arms left and right. And then place your bottom foot on the floor. So the left foot's on the floor. Pick up your hips, hop them to the right for just like an inch, then draw the knees back into your chest, cross, and then swing the legs over towards your left. So we're getting a twist. We're maybe getting a deeper stretch in the outer right hip, head turning to the right if you like. If for whatever reason this isn't agreeing with your body, you can untangle the legs and just have the legs stacked for this twist. Let's take about one more breath. And then come on back through center. Both feet are on the floor. Let's hit up the left hip, left thigh, left ankle on top of right thigh, and a reclined pigeon pose, toes peeling back towards knee. Let your low back relax. Let your pelvic floor soften. Take a big belly breath in. Exhale, soften, soften. You want to keep that left foot flexed though, but softening through the pelvis, softening through the back body. Really let your head rest on the floor. About one more round of breath. Okay, let's cross the left thigh tightly over right. Bottom foot to the floor. Hop your hips to the left just an inch or so. Arms go left and right. And then bring the legs back into the chest without holding on to them. Swing the legs now over to your left. Head turns to the right. Just maybe even looking around the room that you're in, noticing, is there anything pleasurable that you can take in, something beautiful that you can appreciate in the space that you're in right now? Breathe it in on the inhale. Let it go on the exhale. Good, and then come on back through center, untangle the legs. Draw the knees into the chest, soles of the feet together. Grab a hold of the outside edges of the feet, coming into a floating cobbler's pose, or maybe the ankles. Couple breaths here. Excellent, and then extend the legs long. Taking your relaxation pose. So I encourage you for the rest of the day or maybe the rest of the week to just kind of explore, where is pleasure and beauty in my experience at any given moment? Like even in the times that feel hard, just looking for what feels good as well. And the key thing about taking in pleasure, enjoying things, is knowing that things always change, right? So being able to let go of the things that you enjoy as well. Kind of keep an open hand for the next beautiful or pleasurable thing that you encounter. So what feels pleasurable about relaxing into the floor, softening the belly, softening the brow? Is there pleasure in surrender? And I encourage you to enjoy this Shavasana for at least 3 or 5 breaths. If you can stay longer, please do, and luxuriate in what feels good. And so this is where I'll leave you. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to take care of yourself. Know that when you feel good, that's good for others. When you feel happy, that's good for the world. Namaste.